Oh, give us strength in thee to fight, in thee to conquer sin. As thou didst hunger, bear, and thirst, so teach us, gracious Lord, to die to self and chiefly live by thy most holy word. And through these days of
Thank God I'm not like that other guy. He deserves what's coming to him. I'm paraphrasing the gospel. If you came here tonight to seek your reward, you might not like what you're going to hear starting your Lenten journey. How many times do we hear that said over and over and over again? Don't let me be like that guy, the hypocrite. They'll get their reward. Do not fall into the trap that your Lenten journey is about where you measure up comparing to the other people around you. Give it up. Lent is not about the examination of others. Lent is about the examination of ourselves. And therefore, by doing so, we might not like the reward we receive by what we see. Lent is kind of like aging. It's not for sissies. Lent is a serious time, a time to where we may assess the things that we need to part from or the things we need to take on, but for what reason? So we're not like that other person? In some sense, the definition of a sacrament can be illustrated in the season, those 40 days and 40 nights of Lent, to be that outward and visible sign of that inward and spiritual grace. There's a little bit of a mystery to the gospel. Are we supposed to do things in public or not? And why do we do these things? Why do we make images on our foreheads if it's not to show others how pious we are? As you know, that is not the purpose for why we're here tonight. It is not so that we can go out and post our selfies and to show others how big our cross is or how neat it is on our forehead, although many will do that. It's not to be a quick reflection, a drive-by. It's to be saturated in time, sitting amongst one another, pondering the mysteries of God and the world, and asking the hard questions. The questions about ourselves, the question about the person that we see in the mirror. It's in that image of the cross that we see Christ in the ugliest form of his punishment and persecution, and we don't like what we see. He did this intentionally so that he would lead the way for us to be able to also part from that to which we do not like to see in ourselves. There's a lot in every single individual, and I'm the first to admit I don't like sometimes what I see in the mirror. But I have to let you know the temptation, as great as it is, to compare, to look beyond, to look at others, I have to resist that as well as you. You have to do everything in your power for 40 days and 40 nights to examine yourself. Who are you praying to? Are you truly asking for Christ to come into your life, or do you give him a bit of part-time status? That he's there for the grace at every meal, he might be there for the nighttime routine, but Christ doesn't want to meet with you for just those occasions. He's expressed his sacrifice because he wants all of you, all of your time, every bit of your life, as ugly as it is. To me, that's the beauty of the cross. He took on the most heinous form of image to the world to see of someone who's humiliated and scourged and crucified and mercifully. And yet he did that so that whatever burdens that we might be carrying with us and what we have repressed and the things that we don't like to see in ourselves, there's nothing, he says, that I can't handle for you and that I can't understand about you. I created you for God's sake. If we are going to call others into the faith of Christ, it's not going to rest merely on our outward and visible signs and what we broadcast. It's got to be from within. Joel said it himself. He said, "Rend your hearts, not your tablets." When we come and take on the form of humiliation, and that is exactly what we're doing here tonight, it's humiliating. It can even be discouraging. It can conjure up a lot of feelings when those ashes are placed on one's forehead. And yet it can also be so redemptive. The sense of being at one with our Maker, knowing that He is willing to travel to the utter depths and to the dust itself, where we are fashioned and where we are grown in this earth. He rejoices when we spend time with Him. Now, if you're going to ask others to be a part of this movement of following this man who is Jesus, the second letter to the Corinthians may not be the best material to use. I mean, it doesn't have a strong selling point. We want you to follow the man we're following so that you can be beaten, you can be humiliated, you can be imprisoned, you can be punished. And yet that's exactly what Paul is writing to that precious little group of people, probably just like us here in this assembly. We're just like that in that place in Greece, in Corinth. And he was trying to steady them by saying, this is the par for the course. As Larry Arnn, who is the president of, or is the president of Hillsdale College, he said at a funeral not too long ago that if you are going to bear the mark of the cross, if you're going to be a Christian, your strength is in one thing. You must suffer. Now, we're not here to impose our own suffering. There's enough that's within us to do that. The problem is we lack the courage sometimes to face it, to face us. We can play the trumpet and raise the glad song on Easter morn because we went and traveled through those valleys, through those moments where we didn't hide from our past. We didn't put aside all of our inadequacies and insecurities. We confronted them. We boldly said, we will stand in front of you, O Christ, and we will let you examine us. We will be here before you because we know where we came from. We came from dust. And yet, Paul doesn't leave them in a rut. He doesn't leave them in a bad place. He also goes on further to say of the joys and the hope and the peace that comes from being a follower of Jesus. This faith that we talk about is forged and it is strengthened through this period of fasting, of inspecting ourselves, examining ourselves, asking God to make sense of who we are and to meet us where we are. Christ knows where you are. A lot of people today are worried about what other people think about them. I'm not going to disparage that. I know that that's a pretty big pressure. When we look at church, the ecclesia is about community, and we are to look at one another and to hold each other in Christian accountability and to love one another as Christ loved us. But it is so hard to love the other when you can't learn to love yourself. It's hard to love the self when we see the ugly side of it. And often we go through our lives going halfway Lent, will bring half of us, but the other half will keep reserved. Lent is a all or nothing journey. So therefore, why did you come here today? Who is this Christ in the world in which you live, and what will you be able to ask him during these 40 days and 40 nights? If you're being truthful, if you're being patient, being kind to yourself, allowing for the silence to speak louder than words, then Christ will do something quite amazing in your life. He will show you how to live with yourself. And with that, you will receive your reward. In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Like them to be full of giving fast and pray with thee, our spirit strengthen with thy grace, and give us joy to see thy face. O Father, Son, and Spirit, blessed to thee